Surprise! You weren't expecting me, huh? Well, today I am your host for the day. I am the angry grandpa himself. I can't even talk right now. I don't know why. The angry grandpa himself, Irving. I am your host for today. And today is going to be an awesome episode, of course. Unfortunately, Eric and Danis could not be here due to other things that they have to deal with and whatnot, but they'll be back next week. So, but in the meantime, I'll be the host for today. But I'm not alone. I did not come alone. We also have my co-host, the one and only DJ Monkey, is going to be keeping me company today. So, Monkey, how's it going, brother?
I am vibing, bro. I'm sore. I just had a hell of a hardcore show last night with my boys over at Equinox. So I am beat up, but I don't miss this shit for the world. So
Nice, nice, nice,
wrestling in the morning.
nice, awesome. And then we also have a special guest today. He is half of Southern Discomfort. You also seen him on Ohio Valley Wrestling, also in Queen of the Ring, and as well as the Netflix series The Wrestler. He is the one, the only Snake Williams Jr.
How you doing, Snake?
How we doing, sir?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Good, good, good. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of the podcast today. Um, it's an honor to have you here, and basically, it's I'm a little bit nervous because normally I'm the one that just sits back and let everybody talk, and I just give my opinion on stuff and whatnot. But there's a little bit different, so I'm gonna try to do the best that I can to entertain everybody that's watching as well. So,
Well, there's nothing to be nervous about. I can't reach you from here, anyways.
that's true. That's true. So, but anyways, we do have a lot to cover. This week has been a crazy week for wrestling. So, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the mainstream highlights. Now, we guys.
Yep.
All right. So first and foremost, Monday Night Raw. If you didn't see Monday, it started off. At first, I was like, okay, it's another segment with Seth. Coming out trying to say that he's gonna get rid of the Vision. Then Brock Lesnar comes. Well, Paul Heyman comes out and confronts Seth Rollins and all the masked men, and poor Paul Heyman. He looked like shit. I'm sorry, but he looks so bad after that curve stomp.
Best fucking method actor in the game right now.
I mean, I think, I mean, I thought he looked bad when he was like really depressed when Solo Sikoa was self-proclaimed tribal chief, but he looked way worse this past Monday. And then all of a sudden, he brings up Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar takes out dozens of men, masked men, and then gets in the ring and faces Seth Rollins. All of a sudden, the lights go out, and I'm thinking, okay, Seth Rollins is leaving. No. Oba Femi comes out, and literally the whole stadium just blew up in flames. That crowd went wild. I mean, I screamed out of the top of my lungs because it was the most epic moment that I was not expecting to happen, and it's gonna make things more interesting now for WrestleMania because now we're gonna have Oba Femi versus Brock at WrestleMania. Two big guys. And the fact that
they did something like that because, bro, with the way the Vision had it's been such a hard pull or a hard build to this WrestleMania thing because it looks like they had put all the chips on the Vision, and then they went totally San Francisco 49ers on them. Every one of them died, like every single one of them. So going into that WrestleMania build, it was already like this shit's fucking broken, and they needed to do something. That the pivot into Omar or not Omos, Oba versus Brock. That was fucking smart. I didn't see it coming.
I was not expecting it either. And Oba Femi has the aura for to be in the wrestling ring for such a big guy.
That shit makes sense.
And I think this will be a great match for Oba is facing Brock at WrestleMania, especially now because we are leading to Brock's retirement. Brock said that, if I'm not mistaken, this probably will be his last year as a wrestler. So we'll see what happens. But Snake, did you get to
Yeah.
see the clips between Obafemi and Brock by any chance?
Yeah, I've seen some of the clips on Facebook and on social media. I don't actually watch the show that often, but yeah, I've seen the clips of it. Looked to me like Brock was handing the torch over.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's like John Cena retired, and then everybody from that era went, you know what? I'm going to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out.
Pretty much.
Hey, AJ left no time. AJ was like, "Oh, fucking John's out. I'm not peace, dude. Like, I'm out."
Yeah. And, I mean, AJ also had a
But
great.
do wrestlers
career,
ever truly retire though?
You know,
That's true. That's true.
I feel like the wrestlers and comic book characters have that in common. Like, do comic book characters actually die? Do wrestlers actually retire? You know, that's a fair point. Although there is some wrestlers, like I believe John Cena when he says he's done. I don't know why I believe it, but I believe it. Like when
Until
he's
they
like,
talk him to coming back for a WrestleMania 5 years down the road or something.
yeah, everybody's got a price, you know.
Yep.
Or you know, you hit that bad divorce.
I mean, look.
Yeah.
I mean, Ric Flair has come back to wrestling how many times now? You know, so I mean, and never say never.
Yeah,
you know?
but that's Rick. Rick Scott.
I mean,
Well,
Rick. I don't know how he does it. I'll tell you that.
Bro, when Ric
always had
Flair
problems
finally expires, they're still gonna see him at wrestling shows.
Yep, I agree. I have to agree with that.
God rest his soul. When Ric Flair finally goes, I'm not gonna believe it either. I'm still gonna be like, nah, he's gonna be on Monday night.
Yep. And then also covering other wrestling news, we saw that Ren Sinclair won the WWE Women's Speed title. This is going to be her first championship in WWE. Ren has been in NXT for quite some time now, so the fact that she actually got to win her first title now is actually a chance for her to prove herself. And hopefully, you know, get a shot at the NXT North American title or maybe even the women's title. So, Monkey, your thoughts?
Good book. I to be honest with you, just breath of fresh air. Breath of fresh air type of shit. It's the only thing that I guess that I would have well, you know what? I can't even say that. Nah, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. I like where this is going. I'm not no changes, no notes. I was gonna say something, but even then, that might actually be a bad idea. No. I like this. When it comes to how they're booking the women, other than the Bella Twins, I'm all right with it. Like they're doing pretty fucking good with their women's division, so I'm all right with how they're setting things up. I like the whole thing that they did with their last big shakeup with Soul and Zarya. Like everything that they've been doing with wrestling, with women's wrestling or their women's division outside of the Bella Twins, I'm never going to support bringing back the Bella Twins. But I can't complain, bro. Like, nah, they've been doing solid. But that's the one thing I'm going to be excited about going into most of these fucking PLEs is that the women's wrestling all over the place is just at a peak.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And so we also have Kendall retained and vacated the Women's Evolve Championship last week, and Aaron Warwick won the WWE Evolve Championship, which makes it the WWE's first openly gay male champion since Darren Young in 2015.
Getting that progression in, yeah.
I think that's actually great. It at least they're they're expanding to everybody.
You know what I don't like about it though? It felt shoehorned. That's the only. It felt. It didn't feel as significant as it should have. Like the whole him winning that Evolve Championship, like down the road.
It didn't feel like that special.
Yeah, it felt very rushed. But you know what?
Well, I mean, you have to understand.
It's Evolve. It's evolved,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna bitch.
And you have to understand, you know, the champions are getting called up to NXT now. So that's the reason probably why they did it. You know, I mean, it's kind of like Obafemi in a way, but not really as big as Obafemi. Because I mean, Obafemi was the NXT champion for the longest, and then he vacated just to go to the main roster. Which, you know, I mean, I don't mind it. I think it's a great move. I think this will also gives them the opportunity to improve themselves in the ring and on the microphone in order to get called up to NXT. I think this relationship with Evolve being involved I think it's great in my opinion. Do you watch
I have no problems with that.
Yeah.
That whole promotion of what they've done with it so far.
Yeah.
So
And then Snake, do you watch any Evolve or get a glimpse of it on any chance?
No, I've never seen it.
It's a pretty interesting product. I'll tell you this. I mean, there are a lot of the young guys that are there are mostly like very athletic. I mean, I seen them do some crazy flips and whatnot, you know, and I mean, it's a great show in my opinion. And then we also have American Gladiators 2026 is set to air on Amazon Prime April 17th, hosted by The Miz and Roxy Diaz, featuring the wrestling gladiators Warlow. Warlow from AEW?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Jesse Goddard, Rick Boogs, Camille, and J-Rod. That's actually going to be pretty... That's going to be a pretty good show, in my opinion, to be honest.
I just seen J-Rod last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she was at the OVW show last night.
Oh, okay, awesome. That's actually a pretty cool concept that they have wrestlers instead of like, you know, big buffed up, you know, men and whatnot. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, some of these guys like Jesse Goddard is pretty buffed and whatnot, but you know, also Rick Boogs. I haven't seen Rick Boogs since the last time he was opening up for Shinsuke.
I can't believe we're gonna live to see the return of American Gladiators.
Yep. And then Camille, I haven't seen her since her AEW days when she was not Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné's second hand. So I think this will be great in my opinion. What happened?
Hey, stop. I don't know how to break this, but I gotta break this. Chuck Norris went to the hospital yesterday on an emergency situation. It's just passed.
Oh damn!
So he wasn't immortal after all. Crazy. But yeah, all right, keep it going. My bad.
Well, I mean, real quick, I mean, you know, I mean, Chuck Norris. I mean, he was in WWE at one point back in like the 90s, I believe, and whatnot. So
he had a cameo or two.
You know, our condolences go out to Chuck Norris and Chuck Norris family and loved ones. You know,
Chuck Norris didn't die. He already mastered the earth. Now he's going to go master the afterlife. He just went to sleep.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
He went to go whoop up on the Reaper.
Then as well, we also have the Titans of Calamity will be in the 2026 Crockett Cup. This is for NWA. I actually got to go to the NWA tapings not too long ago, and I had a great time. Got to you know, shake Brad Idol's hand. Got a real up close of the tapings and everything. It was actually a pretty cool experience, and the whole Crockett Cup tournament, I think it's going to be great, in my opinion. We also have, due to an unfortunate injury, rib injury to Rey Mysterio, it's being reported that Gunther may be off WrestleMania. I actually just saw that too. It's a possibility Rey might not even get to wrestle at all. It might just have to hang it up. Because I saw a picture of him just of his hand holding the mask to the side. So that's unfortunate, man.
And they're pulling Gunther?
I mean, they have no other choice. Because, I mean, who are they going to put him up against? Because remember, he has he has the career killer gimmick going on for him, and the next person that would have been to wrestle him will have to be Rey Mysterio, because Randy Orton is going to be facing Cody Rhodes. You know, so that's very unfortunate, to be honest.
This is what I mean. Like WWE is going through this whole like San Francisco 49ers situation where like just everybody on the roster, bro.
I mean, Rey Mysterio is also, he's at that age too. He's getting older and whatnot. He's been wrestling for quite some time, so it wasn't that long ago that he was out for almost a year, because of injury, and he just recently came back. So, that's unfortunate. Hopefully, it's a speedy recovery for Ray, and and it sucks that they're gonna keep Gunther out. But it's crazy. It's crazy. Any thoughts on that, Snake?
I'm just wondering how long it's going to be before they put Gunther in there with the Oba guy.
That's going to be a good match too between the two, because I
don't think you're going to get that before you get Brock, because I think that's who retires Brock is Gunther.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
And Brock's already kind of just like laid that, hey, this is going to be my last year warning, so you could probably bet that to be summer next year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to have Gunther working all these different legends who are getting ready to retire and actually saying that he's the one that's retiring them is building him for something big.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no other reason to do it other than to build him for something.
I think what it is by the time he's done claimed, well, now Mysterio's fucked, but once he's claimed Lesnar and Orton, which are two huge ones. The next big one, and the one that would be the build up to all of this, because you got to give Gunther all of these people to even consider this. Roman's got a lot of gray in his beard these days.
Yeah, that's true.
And wouldn't that look like? That would make Gunther old. There's nothing else that you could do with Gunther after that. You feed him Roman Reigns as a retirement. That is like giving him legend killer times infinity, bro. Like that's giving him the ultimate legend to kill.
Then you also have Shinsuke too, because Shinsuke is also at that age as well, and he's a legend himself in the wrestling.
I just hope they don't write themselves into a corner too quickly and pull that. I would hope that would be like the last thing that they do is give them Roman, because if they pull that fucking trigger too quickly, then what the fuck are you doing with Gunther after that? Because this.
Yeah, then I mean,
a long roll.
And
I know Roman's got some gray in his beard, but I don't think he's quite ready yet.
No, yeah. I don't think that's going to come for another 3 to 4 years. But you give him Randy, you give him Lesnar, and then you like you said, you get Shinsuke coming up on the market or coming up in the age, and then you keep giving them vets until fucking Roman. Who knows? Maybe one of the Usos calls a quit before Roman. Give him an Uso, like there's ways to stretch that, but will it get old too quickly? Because we thought Randy Orton's Legend Killer was going to go forever, and then they ran out of old people to kill, and it got boring.
Yeah,
well, you can always bring back some legends.
Yeah, true. That's true. That is true.
Hillbilly Jim versus Gunther.
That would be an interesting one. Let's see what else we got. Ricky Sands will appear on the upcoming season of CW's Wildcards. That's going to be interesting to see. Tickets will be on sale next Friday.
Ricky Saints starting that low in the company is telling.
Well, to be honest, I mean, they have to give him something, because I mean, I think just recently he tried to pull the whole The Rock concert segment on NXT, and I think they ended up scrapping it. There were talks that, remember how Rock did a whole concert on a Monday Night Raw, and then they tried to do the same thing with Ricky Sainz, and I guess people were like finding out about it, and they just scrapped the whole segment. Did you get to hear about that?
I didn't, but that sounds.
Because I mean, they're comparing Ricky Sainz as a Timo version of The Rock, and I mean,
No, that's fucking accurate.
to be honest, I hate to say it, but I mean, I kind of do agree in a way because I mean, the attitude, the everything, it's just like The Rock.
But listen, the reason why I say that it's telling that he's starting that low in the company is because like when they believe in you, you usually start in NXT if you've coming off of like another promotions roster. Ricky's starting like on CW, dude. Like I don't. I think they might actually have like to an effect. I think they may actually have a problem with him. Maybe they want to develop him more. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
yeah, I don't think it's good to be fucking like because that budget rock shit. That's actually a meme, bro. So I think they want to work him out of that. Like maybe again, yeah, I feel like it's probably a developmental thing.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Ricky Sainz and whatnot, and I think he's a great wrestler and all, but I kind of hope that they phase him out of that rock personality and make him his own.
You don't want too many people
superstar.
coming at this shit like LA Knight does, because that's the big criticism of LA Knight on the mainstream level is that he's too much like
Like
you can
Stone
tell
Cold.
he's you can tell he's trying to bite off of Stone Cold and The Rock at the same time.
Yep,
You
exactly.
know,
So
and that's probably what's holding him back. A lot of people are like, "Oh, uh, LA Knight never gets the respect and all that, and he's always taking jobs and all that." There's probably a reason for that when you're giving yourself a ceiling. Imitation sucks. You don't like imitation's not great because it keeps you limited to that imitation. Like you're supposed to be yourself times 10.
oh
So
yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah, but
Um
you got to also understand in wrestling, there's no new ideas. Not
Sure.
anymore.
That is
fair.
fair. That is fair. Sometimes they have to come up with some crazy ideas, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
That's why I respected people like Bray Wyatt because very far and few in between you get that kind of creativity that you ain't seen before.
Oh yeah,
Now
definitely.
that would have been a legend if he had, not if we'd not lost him so early. He was
Yeah.
really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tickets will be on sale for TNA next Friday, May 14th and 15 tapings in Sacramento. FTR versus Cope and Cage 2 for the AEW tag team titles is set for Wrestle Dynasty on April 12th. That's going to be a good match. I'm really hoping that they get a pretty decent run as tag team champions, because I mean they haven't been tag team champions since like the 90s, I believe. And they went on the singles career. And they both have history. Cope and Cage are great, in the ring and whatnot. So the fact that they're getting a title shot against FTR, I think that'll be a great matchup.
I can't wait until that lasts for like 2 months and then Christian fucks over Edge and sends him back to fucking Netflix. Because that shit ain't gonna fucking last, bro.
Oh my
But
god!
you know what? Cool, whatever. Give them their last run.
I mean,
I'm not.
they get. I think, in my opinion, I think Cope and Cage are going to retire in AEW. I don't see them coming back to WWE.
No.
And if that's the case,
Especially
more power to them. At least give them a pretty decent run as tag team champions before they end their career.
Until they need another opponent for Gunter.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, there we go. That's actually
fair.
a great idea too.
Edge, here's $3 million. Go die to Gunther, please. Thanks. You can take a few chops for $3 million, right? Yeah, okay.
Via Sports Illustrated, Tom Brady has called out the WWE proclaiming the scripted line. Ooh, what is that? What is going on with that? Because I mean, I understand. Like, I just saw Logan Paul. I mean, confront Tom Brady.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. He's got a link here.
Yeah,
Yes.
What it take to sack Tom?
yeah, right here.
All their stuff is so cute and scripted, and they know what's going on. In a football game, you don't know it, so they wouldn't even get near me. Plus, if I had a good offensive line, they'd punch those guys right in the throat, and they'd be probably crying. And there's no fake BS we do in American football. So for those guys, it'd be a whole different story for them.
I know why this got added.
Yeah,
I know why this got added. Excuse me.
I call bullshit on that because I think there is scripted shit in NFL football.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah,
Tom?
definitely.
Tom, just because you're sitting in fucking Vegas, okay, and you fucking own the Raiders, you're not bullshitting nobody, okay? All right. I open my fucking Hard Rock app and know that's a fucking lie. All right. I know that's a fucking lie. While you're sitting on a fucking boat, all right, costing me fucking draft picks because the fucking Flores guy doesn't want to sit and fuck around with you. Listen, don't you try to sit here and gaslight the world and tell us that we don't know already that the NFL's fucking scripted, like we don't talk about the script every fucking week. Stop this, okay? I'm a Dolphins fan. You're not getting this shit over me. Fuck you, Tom. I know why this got added.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
pissed me off.
listen, I mean, at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want about wrestling, but wrestlers are actually athletes themselves. They take hard bumps. Sometimes they even suffer through injuries or whatnot, and it's not easy. They, like running against the ropes and then jumping off the top rope to all the way to the mat and all that. It takes it takes a lot out of your body,
what, Tom?
and
Get in the ring. All right. You're just mad because Dennis Rodman's going in the Hall of Fame. All right. That's what it is. Why don't you go wrestle Dennis? Stop talking shit. Your offensive line's gonna punch people in the throat. Please. They made the fucking tuck rule for you, all right? Leave this shit alone.
oh my god, what are your thoughts?
Fuck off, Tom.
Clickbait works.
Oh man. Candice Michelle has signed with TNA to work as a backstage producer. I saw that and I was like, oh my god, I hope she's not going to wrestle. But the fact that they hire her as a backstage producer is actually pretty cool. She does have a lot of great influence in the women's division back in WWE and whatnot. Wasn't the greatest wrestler, don't get me wrong, but just it was still a great influence. And I think that would be a great role for her. In TNA and TNA needs it right now because I personally I've been watching TNA and I feel like the women's division hasn't been the greatest in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. Monkey, your thoughts?
Good job. I just saw the schedule and I'm already like I just saw the docket and what's the next topic and I'm already like mind melted. I'm sorry. Like I'm about to be so fucking mad in this next statement. Good job, Candice. Congratulations.
You're
not ruining wrestling for women.
Say your thoughts.
My thoughts on this? I don't even know who she is, man.
Really?
Yes.
No.
Candice was like part of the diva of the divas phase in WWE. So
that says it all right there. I mean, the ladies in WWE now are very, very athletic, and most of them are better than the men wrestlers, if I'm being honest. But back in that era, man, they were so stifled and wasn't allowed to actually wrestle, and it went during that diva era and stuff. So I mean,
if your name wasn't Lita or Trish, we don't remember you from the diva era.
That's right. Or Sunny or Sable. But that was just for the bikini pics.
Yep. And then Monkey's going to have a fight over this one. The Bullets are signed for a 2-year deal as they revealed on their podcast. Monkey, I want to have this one.
Why 2 years?
The Bella Twins.
What possibly? What fucking possibly in 2 years can you do with the Bella Twins? Like, what possibly? What fucking angle in the world are you stretching for 2 fucking years with the Bella Twins? Why was that a thing? Why? This is a 90-day contract to high and by. Why did you do this to the division for 2 fucking years? I hate Shaw. God damn it, I hate Shaw.
Listen, I'll say this.
And then they got the nerve. They got the nerve to sit there and say some stupid shit like, "Oh, we're not going to get a retirement tour like John Cena because we're women." Fuck y'all. No, it's because y'all suck.
I'll say this.
They're probably wanting to start another reality TV show.
Probably. That's what I was going to say. They're probably going to want to start a reality TV show because, I mean, Brie hasn't been wrestling. She's normally been on the sidelines watching Bryan Danielson wrestle. Well, he hasn't been wrestling in a while either, but and he's been mostly the one bringing in the money. And I think she's just been working on the podcast with Nikki. So I think this is. I guess I'm not. I'm just assuming, even though I can make an ass out of myself, I don't care. I'm just assuming that they're probably running out of money and they need more money now. So that's just my opinion. But I know at least for Nikki, I know she has to be running out of money because of that divorce that she just went through, and it kind of sucks.
You want to do a reality TV show? Go be an IRL kick streamer, okay? Stop fucking screwing up the division and clogging up fucking cap space or whatever the fuck they call that over there, where you're just fucking sitting on a roster for fucking no reason with all this money for no fucking reason. Go be a kick streamer. Like
maybe in 2 years they'll throw her to Gunter.
That'd be great, to be honest. That'd be great.
They said that shit about their retirement tour, and I'm like, I can't wait for Charlotte Flair to have her like big fucking LeBron James tour time retirement. Fuck you guys. I hate you guys.
And then there's and the last wrestling news for today. This has been going all over social media as of right now. Dennis Rodman is being the next. It's going to be the next inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame of Class 2026. It's been posted all over Twitter by ESPN sources. Dennis Rodman was actually one of the very first athletes to not show up for practice and go to wrestle with Hulk Hogan. I wanted the pay-per-view back in the WCW days, and that's the reason why he became a legend in a way. But I mean, not only because of that. I mean, he became a legend in general, growing up in the WCW. And going up against Diamond Dallas Page and Karl Malone. So the fact that, he's getting that opportunity to become a Hall of Famer in the WWE, I mean, big props to him. A big congrats to him as well. And, I couldn't, I mean, personally, but I do want to say this. Can you stop that real quick? Stop that. I do want to say this. I am kind of just a little bit sad because Sabu did not get inducted yet. Personally, I do feel that Sabu should have been inducted before Dennis Rodman did, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying
they haven't released that full class, have they?
I don't think so. I think they're still releasing it or not, but like I say, it's just my opinion. I do feel like Sabu should have been inducted first before Dennis Rodman, because Sabu has done a lot for the wrestling industry as well, So,
I'll hold out hope that they get that he gets selected in the rest of the class, because what I understand, at least from pattern recognition, I can't confirm this by any like stretch, like somebody told me. But it seems like they prefaced that Hall of Fame announcement, the full class, with just like the headlining guy, and then the special guests that they put in every year. So that's probably why the only two, and they have a whole other class that they're gonna bring in that they'll announce later. At least that's my.
There's all kinds. There are all kinds of legends who should get in there before most of these people. I mean, Demolition are just now making it into the Hall of Fame, and that's sad, considering they were one of the top tag teams. And they're not even including Crush, which is sad also,
True.
In that group. At least they haven't mentioned him in any of the talks or whatever. And I know he didn't play a huge role in Demolition, but he was in it for, a year or so, And when I think of Demolition, I think of all three of them. I don't just think of the two because that's what I grew up watching. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I mean, still, big congrats to Dennis Rodman. Would love to see him at the Hall of Fame, uh, along with the rest of the 2026 class. So,
Shove it up your ass, Tom.
so that so that is it
that's
for
why
the
Tom said
mainstream.
that because he's mad he'll never make the Hall of Fame in WWE.
Yep.
So that is it
One
for the
ring he
mainstream.
won't be able to get.
That is it for the mainstream highlights. Now we're going to go ahead and cover the topics. AAA Rey de Reyes review and preview. It is a multi-week event. Dom entered concussion protocol after retaining the AAA Mega Championship. That means that
Hold
he's
on,
not going to wrestle.
let me pause you right here.
Yeah.
Is Dom the new Tua?
What do you mean?
I feel like he's always in concussion protocol.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with him. Like, I'm kind of worried about him because I mean he's so young and now he's been getting concussed so many times and whatnot. Like,
Listen, as an educated Dolphins fan, I can tell you, one too many of those in a year ain't a great thing.
no, it's not. It's not, and it's worrisome in my opinion. So I mean, look at Danielson for example. Like he had to retire, then all of a sudden came back out of nowhere and everything. But man, I do hope Dom recovers from this concussion because I mean those are scary. That can cause some really permanent damage. So let's see what happens for him. I mean, let's hope that he doesn't have to relinquish the title too. Because I mean,
Listen,
even though I don't listen,
like
even though I don't like Dominic as champion and whatnot, he plays a great champion. He has that personality to become the greatest heel champion of all time, and I gotta give him that. I'll give him that. He's annoying, I can't stand him at times and all that, but he does have that great championship persona, in my opinion. So I have to give him that. Snake, your thoughts on that?
Once again, I don't even know half of what you're talking about because I don't keep up with that stuff, man. To be
Well, I
honest
mean,
with you.
well,
Listen.
like your thoughts on the whole concussion situation? Like, I mean, have you ever gone through like any concussion protocols in your entire career?
No, but I'm
No?
old and I've probably
Yeah,
had
they didn't
100 of
believe in
them. But
CTE back then,
yeah. I mean, it's when we wrestled back in the day, you got hurt, you finished your match, you crawled to the back, and you just went on about your business, unless it was something serious.
Gotcha.
You didn't complain or nothing. I mean, but there's been plenty of times that I've woke up seeing stars in the ring because I got knocked out, and I'm sure I had a concussion, but I never went to the hospitals or nothing like that. I mean, it's just the way most of us are, honestly.
Gotcha.
At least most of the older guys.
Yeah.
When concussions stack like that in a year, and the way how WWE's handling concussions is a lot like professional sports. And now they have TKO there, which influences that too, because they deal with concussions in the UFC all the time. So I'm sure that they're following lockstep with how they do concussions. What I could say is like when you're legitimately stacking concussions in a year like that, it gets harder to clear the protocol. So it is a
Well,
good
don't get me
possibility.
wrong. I believe that there should be stricter protocols for injuries like that because CTE is real. Um,
Yeah.
just being old and back in the day, we didn't worry about that stuff. We should have, but we didn't. And it is a real danger to people because it messes your head up. But I mean, if somebody's getting multiple concussions, they need to step aside and find out, maybe they need to heal more or something like that before they get in the ring, or maybe they need more training. I mean, maybe they're
Also, yeah, it gets easier every time you get a concussion to get
right.
another.
Yep. Let's see. As well, we have El Grande Americano. Well, which one? El Grande Americano is the number one contender of the AAA Mega Championship. But which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the OG or Ludwig Kaiser?
No, I think it's Ludwig. I think it's Ludwig
Okay.
that he's pretty sure it's Ludwig.
Okay. Santos Escobar worked the show with a torn tricep and was expected to have surgery. Yesterday. Jeez. Bailey debuted.
He's out.
Yep, Bailey debuted answering Flammer's Open Challenge for the AAA Reina de Reinas Championship, but due to the interference from Las Toxicas, Flammer retained and became the longest reigning champion in company history. And then tomorrow, Pagano and Psycho Clown are defending the AAA World Tag Team Championships against the War Raiders. That's going to be a pretty.
Hey,
good
that's
match.
actually a good fucking match. That's good booking.
Oh yeah, no, for real. I think so too. I mean, they had a great freaking match with the Wyatt Six. So I think, giving them the War Raiders.
Watching Ivar flying around with those guys is gonna be something to see, dude.
Hey guys, can you all give me just a second? I need to run and let the cat out real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Give me a second.
Yeah. And then covering also AEW Revolution reviews. Willow is no longer a double champion as Lena Cross and Megan Bayne are the new AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. I really haven't been watching AEW that much, to be honest.
Just roll through these. Roll through these. I ain't watching AEW like that these days because that product is not encapsulating me right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like the I would say probably like from the half from the middle to the end, it was good, but the beginning of it, I think it was just worthless.
Don't get
especially
me wrong.
especially the 0 hour show, because they had the Costco guys with the wrestler and Big Boom AJ wrestle, but but anyways, Jack Perry is the new AEW National Championship, which thank God at least Ricochet is not the champion now. What? We're gonna talk about that. We had that in the topic. So we're
okay, all right.
We have that. We
have the reason for that. But
we will talk about that. The former champion will be discussed in our open discussion topic later. Hangman can never challenge for the AEW World Championship again, which kind of sucks because I mean that match between MJF and Hangman was brutal, and at the end of the day, freaking MJ pulled it off, and man, I gotta give this to MJF, even though he cuts the same promos every time. He's still a great heel and a great wrestler. And I gotta give it to him. He's a great AEW champion, and the fact that they're giving him a pretty decent run now after his injury is great in my opinion. So, Cope and Christian are back. The debut of Ronda Rousey, but she can not get physical until Memorial Day weekend due to her fight with Gina Carano. And I kind of want to talk about that because actually I think we have that in the topics if I'm not mistaken later on. So because I'm kind of curious as to why they brought Ronda Rousey after she's been very hypocritical about wrestling being fake and all that, and I mean she literally criticized the fuck out of WWE, and all of a sudden she decides to join AEW. So I'm kind of like confused about that, but we'll talk about that later.
Because we got to get to that to the end of this because it's connected. This order is weird, but when we get to H, we're gonna have to revisit this because there's like wow.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit! Wow.
Mystico and Just Beat won the trios titles. Mystico and Claudio now have dual contracts between CMLL and AEW. For the Observer, Tony Storm suffered an undisclosed injury at Revolution and will be out for a long time. And
What?
JF,
What the? Yeah. How did they do that? See, this is wow. I thought WWE had it bad. They brought back Ronda Rousey for fucking literally no reason. Holy shit!
MJF actually went to Disney and called it his honeymoon. That is crazy. And now we're going to get to the most important part of the podcast. But before we continue, make sure you follow our social medias on Facebook. Respect the Combat Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. If you haven't followed the TikTok, make sure you follow us and stay updated with wrestling news. And you can also go to our website as well.
Sup, Kick? I see y'all.
But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get started now with the interview with Snake here. Once again, Snake, welcome and thank you for giving us the time to interview you. As we discussed, as we discussed, you are half of Southern Discomfort. You were seen on Ohio Valley Wrestling, also seen on Queen of the Ring, and as well as the Netflix series, The Wrestler. And basically, we're gonna run through some questions real quick. First one, we want to know, what was it like getting to be a part of the Netflix series, Wrestler, as well as getting the opportunity to work with Al Snow and RVW?
Oh, being a part of the Netflix series, man, was awesome. It was definitely an experience that I'd never been through before. And I mean, unless you've been on a show like that or something, it's just unreal to see the way they film stuff, the lighting, all that. And, and then they tell you, don't be looking at the cameras, don't be talking to the cameraman when you're walking by, stuff but then there'll be during meetings like Al always has meetings at the end of OVW, and you'd be sitting there listening to them talk, and you'd have a camera like right next to you, right in your face, and you're like trying not to pay attention to it, but it's hard. But it was also a good experience because we got to become friends with the production crew. A lot of those people were really cool. We hung out. We hung out after shows, different things like that, and we ended up, creating a bond with all of them.
Okay, that's good. What was the? This is probably another question that I'm throwing in that's not on here, but out of that experience, what was the best highlight of being a part of that series for you?
Just experiencing it. It was an experience. That's what life's all about, man, is experiences and enjoying those experiences and when they happen. And it was definitely an experience that not a lot of people get. So it was just really cool to be a part of that, even if I wasn't one of the featured wrestlers. But I mean, me and Jeb, we had a decent role on the show, though. I mean, we might not have been, the main people they were focused on, but we got our spots in there. We got our shit in.
Gotcha. Explain to us how it feels now switching roles from professional wrestling to commissioner of Guilty by Affiliation Wrestling.
Oh man, the wrestling's not done. It's just on hold right now because I'm having some health problems. But Guilty by Affiliation called me up, asked me if I could come be their commissioner. It's a new company out of Muncie, Indiana. They said they wanted somebody tough but fair to come in and regulate the locker room and the show and everything. And I've got a lot of years, 20 something years in the business. Started in 1998, and they respect my opinions and my judgment and stuff. And they asked me to do it, and I was like, absolutely, man. I love being a part of the business, and if I can't wrestle, then I'll do something else to help out.
Awesome. Is there anyone in this business you would say has been a big inspiration for you and or mentor? If so, are you at liberty to say who?
Man, I just grew up watching wrestling. A lot of the old guys I used to love. I was always partial to the bad guys. I was always partial more to people like Kurt Hennig and Ravishing Rick Rude and Million Dollar Man and all them. I just loved watching them back in the day. Loved booing them when I was a kid because as a kid you're looking for that hero stuff. But as I got older and more mature, I started seeing the actual contribution that heels really make to the wrestling industry, and I mean it was just a lot of different people that affected my career. It wasn't just one certain person. And then I got to train at OVW with Rip Rogers and Nightmare Danny Davis, and be around people like Nick Dinsmore, Rob Conway, Doug Basham. A lot of people that went on to WWE and stuff like that. And it was just it's definitely been an experience in my life.
That's good.
What
Um,
what do you think would be like the biggest for like a new guy coming in today, like as opposed to like we would contrast it to when you would be a new guy coming in when you were first starting out as a wrestler. What do you think would be like the biggest challenge coming into the industry like today? Like
As a new wrestler, what's the biggest
yeah,
challenge?
yeah,
Getting
yeah,
in your own damn way. When I first broke into the business, we were told to sit down and shut the fuck up. A lot of the new guys that train now, if they've trained at OVW, they know the deal. They know how to listen and take in somewhat. Sometimes they do. But the problem with a lot of the newer guys nowadays is and they should be able to make their own art. That's what it's about. It's an artistic ability to be able to go out there and to put on a show and put on a match for the people to enjoy. But when you've got the older guys in the back, the producers and stuff that are talking to you, a lot of them don't listen. Or at least if they do listen, they don't do or they don't take suggestions very well and stuff. And so a lot of the newer guys, I think they get in their own way when they start because they want to be, they have this grand idea of who they want to be, and they want to be unbeatable, or they want to be this tough guy, or they want to be this or that or the other. And sometimes we as vets sit back and we see these people and we just don't see that in them. We see other things in them, and it would help them out a lot, especially when they're working for big companies, to really embrace what they're given and embrace their characters, especially if they're assigned a character that they don't like, because anybody can make the character work. It's up to the person that has that character.
yeah. And
um,
I feel like especially in this generation, like veteranship and experience doesn't it feels like it's not as appreciated as back in prior generations. So I can understand that.
Well, no, we're just old heads now.
Yeah, yeah, boomers is what
Well, I'm
old
not.
heads,
I'm
boomers,
I'm not a
punks.
boomer. Damn it, I'm Gen X.
Yeah, I know. I'm
I'm
millennial and I
not
get called
that
a boomer.
old. Come on now.
I'm millennial and I get called a boomer. So it's just I feel like now they've just attached that to old people. I don't even think that's a generational thing anymore.
Yeah.
give us a little bit of a background knowledge on how Southern Discomfort became the unit that it is today.
Heh. Well, like I said, I started in '98 in the OVW, and I met my partner back then, Jebediah Blackhawk, but we weren't partners at that time. But we wrestled each other quite a bit in OVW, and then we kind of separated. Hadn't seen each other for years, and then around 2015 or 16, started seeing Jeb in locker rooms, and then we kind of by 17 or 18, we kind of both disappeared from each other again. And then one day he called me up and asked me if I wanted to go play a round of golf because we live near each other, and I was like, sure, let's go. And we got to talking on the course, and at the time he was working as a trainer for Jim, and some guys had come in from OVW that were tag team at OVW, and we're talking to him about coming back to OVW, and he was telling me about it, and I pitched him the idea of Southern Discomfort. I had done it in the past with another wrestler at another organization, and it didn't quite work the way I wanted it to, which was because the other guy that I was tagging with wasn't really into the gimmick. And I pitched it to him. He loved it, and we just ran with it, man. And it actually worked. It worked really well. It still works really well.
Awesome.
That's
And
a
then,
fucking timeless name, Southern Discomfort.
oh yeah, definitely. I think it's a great name, to be honest.
I have to give props to Vito Andretti for that one because he's the one that gave me that idea for that.
That's awesome. And then you have won multiple championships throughout your entire wrestling career. Can you discuss some of the championships that you may remember that you have won that have been very important to you in your career?
Well, the very first title I ever won was the Bad to the Bone BBW Heavyweight Championship, and Bad to the Bone Wrestling was a company out of Kentucky. I had trained at OVW, had a disagreement with Danny, and left OVW at the time. I went over to this company in Kentucky called BBW. They were the biggest company besides OVW. They were the biggest company in Kentucky at the time. And I mean, I worked there for a couple of years before I finally earned their trust enough for them to put the title on me. But that was my very first title, and that was actually probably the one that I was proudest of winning because I was so young. And when you're young, it's all about winning titles, and when you're older, it's just about getting over and entertaining the fans. So
Great.
I got a question. It's another one of those history memory bank questions. But if you would have to pin in like your entire career one moment where you're like, damn, this is the most memorable, this is this is the happiest I'm ever gonna be. Like if you had to pin your most pinnacle moment in your entire career, where would that be?
it'd probably be my first run with Jeb as Southern Discomfort because we accomplished so much as a tag team in that couple of years when we first started than either one of us had really accomplished our whole careers. I mean, it was just like we got together, we started tagging on the Indies, then we went to OVW and did we're both from OVW, but of course they're managed by, they have different management now, so it's not the same people there that knew us from back in the day. So we had to go try out stuff, and then we got to do the summer tour with them. I mean, on OVW's summer tour, the Hillbilly Days, when we did that show, that was probably the most people that either one of us had ever worked. Well, I can't speak for Jeb because he was on an episode of Monday Night Raw years ago, but it was the most people that we had ever worked in the ring, I should say, again, in front of. I mean, there was just thousands of people as far as you can see outside the ring, and that was a great experience, man, because it's totally different than being in, armories and shit with like maybe 100, 200 people there, sometimes 20, sometimes 40. I mean, every now and then. Now the shows that I've been working lately, like Total TCW, Total Combat Wrestling, and IPW, they actually have a pretty good fan base. They sell out their shows every month that they have a show or whatever. So they're actually doing pretty good. But it was just an experience, that neither me or Jeb, I think, had. We got to wrestle in Nashville during the weekend of Ric Flair's final match in Nashville. We got to be on Netflix. We got to be in the movie Queen of the Ring. I mean, it was like when we got together and got back in the wrestling business, it's like it catapulted us further than we'd ever done in our careers, or at
Awesome.
least mine. I mean, I can't really speak for Jeb, but
Gotcha.
If
And
you
then,
had I'm gonna take one more and then
yeah,
you
yeah.
can take the rest. I'm sorry. If you had one thing, like one prevailing thing that you could tell like the newer generation of wrestlers coming in as a piece of advice to make their lives a little bit easier getting through the ladder of the industry to where they want to go? Like what would you tell like the next gen coming in?
Get the proper training at a legit school and not just some person on the independent scene that takes your money and puts you in the ring for a little bit every, before shows or whatever. Get the proper training, make the right connections in the business, and keep pushing, man. You might start out not doing too well, but the more you go and the more you learn who you are, because that's a big part of it. I mean, hell, I didn't even, I've been in wrestling since 1998 and never really knew who my wrestling character was until me and Jeb got together and I started doing Snake Williams Jr. Which was actually a nod because my uncle uh, was a professional wrestler from Canada who trained with Stu Hart in the dungeon and stuff, and I didn't find out about that until uh,
Nice.
2020, right before me and Jeb started tagging, and so I took his name. His name was Snake Williams in Canada. He went by Bill Jordan or Jordan in WWE. He was Yokozuna's very first match. He did a tag match, and you can look it all up on YouTube. He did a tag match with against the Natural Disasters when they were the tag team champions. He was best friends with Bret Hart, and got to wrestle Bret Hart in a dark match or a Saturday Superstars match. He was doing the favor for everybody. But then I found out about that, and then I realized why I had such a love for it, and why it runs in my blood. So
All right. All right,
And
go ahead.
then, and then last question, because actually that was a question I was about to ask, but thank you, Monkey. Last question. You just finished up the show. It's late. You're driving home. Where are you stopping to grab a bite?
Famous question.
If we stop, it's usually IHOP or Jerry's or something like that. But most of the time, we just drive home.
Okay. And if it were to stop at IHOP, what would be your choice to eat?
Usually chicken.
What's the order?
Yeah, chicken. Okay.
Yeah, something with chicken in it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for the questions. Again, thank you for the time being. You're more than welcome to hang out through the rest of the podcast. We're almost done with it. So it's up
Well,
to
thank
you.
you for having me on here, man. And I appreciate it. And yeah, my career is definitely not over. I'm still doing things in the business. April 11th, be having a show up in Muncie, Indiana, where I'm the commissioner for guilt by affiliation. I always say it wrong. Guilt by affiliation wrestling. If you're in the area, if anybody that's watching's in the area, come check them out, man. They're a fresh young company who's trying to get their break, and they're starting a business, and they actually don't do too bad on the crowds and stuff. They're still building their fan base up there, and they have competition in Muncie with IPW, who already has a huge fan base up there. But I think they'll do pretty well. They brought me in to help them out and try to get some more eyes on the company and push the company some. And I really think that we'll end up doing good things there. And if people want to see a good show, they ought to come up and check it out, especially if they're in the area. It's at the YMCA. Uh, I believe it's the YMCA up in Muncie, Indiana. I don't have the address on me, but yeah, if you can check it out or check out my Facebook page. My name is Snake Williams Jr., but on Facebook, you'll find me under Nate Steele. That's my old account. That's the name I used to go by before I found out about my uncle and I started using his name as a junior. He wasn't a junior, but I used the junior name. So if you look me up on Facebook under Nate Steele, you can get all that information because I'm always posting on there, or my TikTok, which is Snake Williams Jr. on TikTok. So follow me on there, follow me on Facebook, and I'm always posting videos, promos, stuff like that, and all the eyes help.
Yeah, most definitely. Make sure you guys follow all the social medias.
Dude,
But
it's been a full pleasure
feel free to hang
talking
out
to
with
you.
us. We're gonna go ahead and get to the open discussion, and I don't know what's worse: Ricochet telling a fan he's happy they got MS, or wrestlers continuing a spot after watching a referee publicly have a seizure in the ring. I don't want to criticize what happened at OVW, because I mean accidents happens and whatnot. From what I saw from recent posts,
Dude, the seizure in the ring, I think, is the most egregious out of that whole shit.
Yeah, I mean,
how you gonna still get your shit in when the motherfucker's dying?
But don't get me wrong, it is kind of, I can understand why people are very uncomfortable with how the referee, would just push to the side with a foot while he was having a seizure, and I get that, but sometimes they have to keep the show going,
Yeah, but
Okay, hold up.
there's a quick out, dude.
Let me first of all let me weigh in on this, because I've been like I said, I've been at OVW all my life. I've worked for Al Snow. I've worked for Danny Davis. I've been in the ring. I've been in the ring when people have been injured in the ring. I've been injured in the ring. So first of all, when you're watching something on a TV screen and you have the field of view of everything going on, you're going to see something like that way before anybody in the ring is going to see it. And it really burns me up, all the criticism OVW has been getting over this, because most of the people that are talking about it have either never been in the ring before in their lives or never worked for a company that has production such as OVW. Because OVW, regardless, has the best production on the independents. There's nobody that tops OVW on production. And I would go to my deathbed saying that. Now, Tony Evans, I know personally. And Tony Evans is very safe in the ring. In fact, it was a couple of years ago, I believe, when he first started coming into OVW, he was literally in a match with a guy who, as soon as they locked up and he drove him to the corner, and this is kind of weird saying because it's kind of like deja vu, but the dude started having a seizure. And Tony didn't know what was going on at the time, but he backed off, he stopped the match, and he got the ref. When you're in the ring, and especially in today's day and age with wrestlers who sit backstage, because they're not either they're not trained or they don't want to talk their way through a match. Back in the day, we didn't get to go back and talk about our whole match. It's like, here's your finish, here's your hot tag spot, or here's your hot spot. The rest of it, you walk and talk in the ring. They don't do that nowadays. They sit backstage for 2-3 hours before their match and they discuss what they want to do during their matches. They got 100 things going through their mind. And when they're in the ring, sometimes it is hard to tell when somebody is legitimately hurt, especially when the bump was supposed to happen and the ref was supposed to die. So I take great offense to people saying, Al, every company can do better to keep stuff like this from, maybe not from happening, but at least to where the reaction time's better. And Al stepped up and he put out a letter and he said, we made mistakes. We're going to take care of those mistakes. We're going to do our best to make it where if something like this happens again, we can react to it. If you watch the end of that match, Tony Evans looked devastated when he realized that the ref was actually down. And a lot of people just want to get on Facebook or get on social media and they want to bash OVW over this. And it's really not fair, because unless you're in that ring and you have that situation, because I see so many people, I'd have stopped the match right then and there. Motherfucker, you might not even notice the shit yourself. I could have very well missed it being in the ring. And I've been in the business for 20-something years. But when my focus, like my wife will come to shows or has come to shows in the past that I didn't know she was going to be at. And she's like, did you see me in the audience? I was yelling for you and stuff. No, I didn't see you, because I get so focused on what I'm doing in the ring that I don't really, I get tunnel vision, you know, and a lot of people get tunnel vision in the ring. So I think it's very unfair for anybody to tell Tony Evans he needs to burn his boots because Tony Evans is better than half the people that's been commenting on this fucking shit, anyways.
Mhm.
Tony Evans is a true professional in the ring, and he's a great guy, and he's a nice guy, and he does not want to see anybody hurt. And then Al Snow stepped up. He took responsibility. He didn't even make excuses. He just said, you know, what he was going to do to fix things, including more referee training, more training for the production crew, more training for everybody to be able to spot something like this. And only thing people took away from that was, oh, he said that they need more training for referees. He's talking about Dallas. No, he's not talking about Dallas. He's talking about referees in general. And as far as Dallas goes, I'm so happy that Dallas is okay. Dallas took a bad bump. Anybody could take a bad bump. Hit his head, and that happened. Now, I watched the whole video after the fact, and I knew what was going to happen, so I spotted it as soon as it happened. Had I been in the ring, that might not have happened. And the things that Tony Evans did to that ref when he rolled him over and then pushed him a little bit with his foot, he does that to every ref that as I've ever seen take a bump in the ring that's laying in the middle where he needs to do a spot because he's a heel and that's what a heel does. He wasn't paying attention to the fact that Dallas was actually hurt. He didn't know.
Mhm.
And he did the same spot that he always does in the ring with everybody and moved the guy out of the way for his safety, for the referee's safety. And people are just running with this, man, and it's not right. And it's ended a lot of friendships. People have quit companies over this. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, and I'm so glad that Dallas is okay, and I'm sure that Dallas and his family will take whatever steps that they feel is needed for retribution or whatever in this situation. I don't know if retribution is the right word, but and you know, and he has every right to do that. But the people that are sitting back and reading this shit on Facebook, hell, I've had people block me just because I disagreed with them on this
Yeah.
people that are in the wrestling business. And like I said, if you're in the wrestling business and you think that Tony Evans or OVW is screwed up for what happened, then you've never done anything important in the wrestling business and you've never been on a show that is produced like OVW is produced or WWE or AEW or any of the shows like that, you know? And not to mention the fact that OVW is a school. Everybody out there that's doing jobs, whether it be your cameraman, your announcers, your wrestlers, whatever. Most everybody there, except for some established people that's been there for years, are trainees. They're being trained. You know, it's a school. That's what it's about. It's about learning. And
Yeah.
this was a learning experience. And I'm sure Al will do everything he can to try to keep something like that from happening again, or at least cut down the reaction time to where people notice it a lot sooner. If
Yeah.
anybody can be blamed for that, it would be the people on the monitors in the back who was watching it in the back. And
Yeah.
that's still not really a fair assessment for them either because they've got 1,000 things going on in the back too if you've ever been in the back of a show that's produced like that. You know,
Yeah.
people are running around. You got wrestlers talking to the producers that are doing the match while the match is going on because they want to talk about their match. And I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Let me
I
let me
totally
let me,
agree.
let me ask you because like you kind of touched on it. How big of a civil war has this caused within the industry? Because
I mean, I
I
don't
kind of
know about call
I
this.
kind of
I
figured
don't
you
know
were
if I'd
telling
call
people
it a
to send
civil
this.
war, but it has. There have been some people that have went overboard on what they've said. You know, it's okay to have an opinion and it's okay to think that somebody did something wrong, even if they didn't really truly do something wrong. It's okay to have that opinion, but to try to bash them and so that's not right. And it has caused some people to leave companies that are loyal to OVW and that have been at OVW for years and years and years and knows how OVW actually is because OVW is a family. When they
Mhm.
say that we are a family, they are absolutely telling the truth. After shows, we would go out to dinner together. We would hang out together. We do stuff together outside of the shows. People help other people move. I mean, it is truly a family, and nobody wants to see anybody at OVW get hurt. Nobody.
I agree. Yeah, no, I was saying the same thing too. Like, I mean, accidents happen all the time. You know, injuries happen all the time. You know, and it's
And it ain't
unfortunate.
ballet.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate
know-
that it happened. You know, but people also have to understand that you know, you can't be so you can't bash somebody just because of something that, you know, that could have happened to anybody in the wrestling industry.
You know what? What was fun? What was good about all that was one thing that you said was that was interesting to me was the benefit of the eye in the sky, the bird view,
Hmm.
the camera view. I'm glad that you came back to fight for that because that is a good point. You know, the camera sees it all before usually people in the actual IRL event.
Not
Get the
only
moment.
that, but I can almost bet you. I could sit here and bet you $1,000 right now that 90% of the people that have commented on that on Facebook, especially the negative ones, didn't even see the match till after they heard about the concussion. So when they were watching it, they were looking for it. So yeah, of course you see it. Like I watched it. When I heard about it, I watched it because I wanted to see exactly what happened. And I noticed it as soon as he started. Like I noticed it looked to me like he was knocked out when he first got hit, which he was supposed to be playing knocked out. You know,
Yeah,
that he
it's a
was
rough
supposed to
bump.
get hit. Yeah, it was a rough bump. He's supposed to be knocked out. So the baby went over and checked on him. He evidently didn't give the baby any indication that anything was wrong, or if he did, uh, the baby didn't react to it or didn't know. Which Ashton Adonis, he's a really good wrestler, but he's also new and green and training and learning and stuff. And you know he got grabbed up and they started doing stuff, and then you know accidents happen in the ring, and you're not always going to know when it happens. You know, it just it's and another thing is, you know, when you step into the ropes, you know that something like that could happen. You know that. You take that risk yourself. You know, most companies, and I'm pretty sure OVW does a hold harmless thing that you have to sign that says, you know, I know that when I step into the ring, that I'm taking my health and my safety into my own hands, and I'm trained well enough that I can handle that, but that doesn't mean that OVW is not going to feel bad, or that Al's not going to feel bad, or not going to try to do everything to help that person if they get hurt or anything like that. But everybody knows the risk that they're taking when they step in the ring. And
Yeah.
to sit back and watch it on a TV screen and say that I would have done this or I would have done that or they should have done that, that's armchair quarterbacking, brother. And don't nobody know what they would do until they're in that situation and it's actually happening to them. They might fucking freeze scared to death, or they might not even be able to recognize what a seizure looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you're sitting in WWE shows as well. There was one where Chris Jericho and Neville, now known as Pac, where Pac got injured and he was trying to end the match early, and he got into an altercation with the ref, telling him that he was injured, and the
The
ref
other thing,
disqualified him.
the
So
other thing that you said
Brother,
that was like,
hold on. I was in a match years and years ago where I was in a tag team match. It was with Jeb. We were Southern Discomfort. I'm not going to say who it was involved in the match or what company, but we was doing a match where we was doing nothing but walking and talking. We had the crowd. We felt like it was time to go home. We told our opponents it's time to go home. They decided, the opponents, that they didn't feel like it was time to go home. They kept me in the ring and they did a double team move where one of them held my arm while the other one jumped off the top rope to uh, uh, kick me in the shoulder. But instead of kicking me in the shoulder, he ended up landing and standing on my shoulder while his partner was still holding my arm, which about dislocated. It might have dislocated my shoulder. I went down to the ground. It was loud in there. I told the guys that I was hurt, go home, pin me, go ahead and pin me. They didn't hear me. They picked me up and they hit me with their finishing move while I'm hurt with my shoulder hurt. So shit happens in the ring. Shit happens in the ring, and it's not malicious. And you know, when we got backstage and the guys realized that I was hurt, they apologized to me, immensely apologized to me, and all that stuff. You know, it's just when you're out there, man, your adrenaline's going, the crowd's loud, you got 100 things going through your mind that you want to do or that you want to try or whatever. You're trying to make sure you hit your spots, your marks. You're trying to listen. You got so many things going on in the ring. Stuff can be missed. It can be missed. No different than missing a spot that you had planned out for a match. It's no different than forgetting something like that. You know, stuff can be missed, and people need to step back and realize that, and give OVW and Tony Evans a little slack on that, because yes, it was a bad situation that happened, and it was dangerous for Dallas, and I'm so glad that he's okay. But at the same time, you know, OVW did everything they could. Yeah, like as soon as they realized that he was hurt, they was on the phone with 911 and they was in the ring stopping the match. They cleared all the wrestlers from ringside. They made the people stay in their seats. They cleared out a spot for the ambulance to come in and pick the guy up. They did everything right. They just didn't react as fast as everybody would have liked them to have.
Yeah, and that's another thing that kind of like you know, sometimes you have people that are recording from the crowd, and then they just post the moment that the impact happened. They don't post
Right.
the whole thing, you know, and that's what people need to start doing, because if you're gonna make people think the worst, you know, that the company is not safe, and that the wrestlers are not safe and all that, you know. So if you're not there, or if you're not watching the show from your TV or your computer or whatever, you know, you don't criticize it just because you saw a 20-second, 30-second clip. You gotta watch the whole thing to know what's
Oh,
actually happening.
exactly. Like when I watched it, I went back and watched the whole match. I didn't want to just see the part where I wanted to see the whole match to see what led up to that, and how they handled it and how it finished, how the wrestlers in the ring react. I mean, they didn't even realize. I know Tony Evans rolled the guy over or whatever, and everybody says, "Oh, nobody does the seizure thing for as a sell or whatever," but that's not true, because Vince McMahon did it when he was stunned by Steve Austin. I mean, several wrestlers had done it throughout the years, and he's a small referee, you know, that took a bump from a bigger wrestler who's twice his size.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how he's going to sell that. And I mean, there's video of him online giving stunners and everything else. So it was just it was a freak accident. It
Mhm.
wasn't anything malicious. There was no malicious intent. The boys were not going and going and going because they wanted to finish the match and didn't care about him being hurt. It was just all a misunderstanding that they didn't realize, and the back didn't realize soon, quick enough, or as quick as people would have liked them to realize, because it wasn't very soon after Tony rolled Dallas over that they started rushing out to ringside and getting Dallas. And that wasn't it wasn't that long between him taking that bump and that happening.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. It seemed like forever when you're watching it, but it really wasn't in the grand scheme of things that long. They actually reacted pretty quickly. Could they have reacted quicker? Yeah, I think they could have. But another thing people don't understand is the referee that was in the ring that took the bump is the guy that has the earphone. He's the guy that's supposed to call the injuries.
Yep.
You know, they didn't have. I'm sorry, man.
You're fine.
The only other people out there that have earpieces are cameramen and announcers, and I don't believe they're on the same channel as the referee. They might be. I'm not 100% sure, but when I'm at OVW, it doesn't seem like, and I'm watching them in production and stuff, it doesn't seem like they're all on the same. Now they can switch back and forth, but as soon as they realized he was hurt, man, they got out there and did what they could. And I think a lot of people are being very unfair to OVW and Tony Evans when they sit there and they bash him
Yeah.
over an accident that happened in the ring. And I don't like it. And I'm going to defend it 100%. And if OVW is in the wrong, if Tony Evans walked over and looked like he realized the guy was hurt and said screw it, moved the guy out of the way and wanted to defend, then I would defend the guy. I wouldn't defend Tony Evans, but that's not how it looked, and that's not from the people that I've talked to, I was at OVW last night and everything. I do not truly believe that's what happened because I know these people. I've known them for years,
Yeah.
and they're not that kind of person.
Yep. I agree.
I'm-
Continuing. Sorry, Monkey, you want
I'm
to say
glad-
something?
No, I'm glad I gave you the. When I read OVW, I was like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do here.
Bro, I
That
was
was-
waiting for this question, honestly.
I'm glad. I'm glad. That was good. No, that was good. Because to be honest with you, there's a couple of things in that explanation, dude, that do get overlooked. The eye in the sky point. The talking through the matches is such a big point too. Like, and when you lose the ability to do that because the guy that's calling the match is dead, yeah, that becomes a complication. And there's a lot of things that I'm glad that you were able to pin on that because
Yeah, I agree.
I'm glad we had experience for that topic.
Well, I mean, I've been in the ring for 20 something years. And another thing that a lot of people don't realize is I believe that's the first time in the history of wrestling that anything like that has ever happened. So how do you prepare for something that's never happened before that you don't even know, you know, as far as like people have gotten hurt, don't get me wrong. But as far as the referee taking a bump and having a head injury that caused a seizure, I'm not sure that I've ever seen that in the wrestling business in my life. So that's not something that you 100% can really prepare for until after it happens, and then you learn from your mistakes and you go forward and you fix those.
I agree.
Now, as
Go
far
ahead.
as that whole Ricochet topic or anything,
Yeah, what about it?
who cares? Like,
I know. To be honest, I kind of want to talk about this one. At least because it kind of did put me in a situation that I need to say something to Ricochet. So Ricochet,
Hold on,
because
hey guys, not to cut you off, but I'm gonna get off here, man. I had a really great time talking to y'all, and I hope y'all, if y'all want to have me back on later on, and I'd love to do it.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll definitely we'll let Eric know that you want to come back and all that. And then he'll probably be the one to contact you to get you
Snake,
back.
we
All right.
appreciate it. We needed the experience today for these topics, boss.
Yes, we did.
No problem, man. No problem. I don't have a problem talking about that stuff either.
And if you want to go ahead, do a little quick plug-in of your social medias once again before you go.
Yeah, Facebook. Just look me up on Facebook under Nate Steele. I do have a Snake Williams Jr. account now that Facebook finally let me use Snake as a name because for the longest time they said that wasn't a real name. I do have a Snake Williams account, but I'm more on the Nate Steele one because that's where all my followers and friends and stuff are right now. They haven't all transitioned over to Snake Williams. And then I have a TikTok, Snake Williams Jr., that you can follow me on. I need all the follows I can get on there, brother. And other than that, like I said, April 11th, I'll be in Muncie, Indiana at the YMCA Boys and Girls Club. I'm not exactly sure which one it is. I'm sure they have one or the other. But it's up in Muncie, Indiana. Guilt by Affiliation Wrestling. I'm the commissioner there, and they got a big show planned, man. And I hope to see everybody out there enjoying themselves and having a good time.
All right, thank you so much,
Yes,
Snake.
sir.
I really appreciate it, and I will definitely have you back soon. Okay.
All right, man, and I appreciate it, and I'll always give you my opinion, and you can trust me on that.
Southern
We appreciate
discomfort.
that.
Have a good one, man.
Take care. All right. So now for this one, because this one is like, so Ricochet has been in some backstage heat with AEW, all because of a fan had an honest critique of one of his backstage promos, and he responded saying, "I'm glad you had MS." Reported that MS has gotten MSF. Who's MSF? What? This? Okay. Anyways, AEW management is furious with him. The public backlash has become so steep that Samantha was receiving death threats on Twitter to the point that she deactivated it, apologized, and reportedly it was on his own accord, but he might not have a job this time next week. Look, Ricochet needs to watch what he says. and whatnot, because now his poor wife is getting death threats, and and I don't condone what the fans are doing. I'm not saying that she deserves it and all that, but it is his fault because of that. He needs to. I understand that people criticize him because of his promos, and I'm sorry, he can't cut a promo, and his stupid laugh is the most stupidest thing he could ever come up with, and whatnot. I don't know how Tony Khan even gives him, TV time, but whatever. But I'm serious. His promos suck. His promos suck. That's the reason why he couldn't cut a promo in WWE and whatnot. And if you have to go that low to tell somebody that you're glad that they had MS, it's really fucked up. And maybe you do deserve to lose your job, and it sucks that your wife is getting all these death threats to the point that she has to deactivate her Twitter account, but the only person that to blame here is you. You did it. So I don't know how the hell you're gonna fix the situation and whatnot, but I mean,
I know
it's bad. It's really bad that it has come down to this.
I know how you fix the situation. If he was cutting promos like he was on the mic, like he was on Twitter, like if he was cutting promos that good on the microphone, like if he could just figure out a way to Twitter finger his ass into a promo, it could work. Listen, man, this could be the biggest heel run of the century if we work it right. I'm just saying.
You're fucking crazy, bro. I'm fucking crazy.
I wish Ricochet knew how to talk shit on a microphone the way he talks shit on a cell phone text keypad. Because damn, dude, like he would be phenomenal, bro. Like, I'm glad you had MS. Get the fuck out of here. If he would have said that in the ring, though, that would have been hilarious. Like to like somebody that maybe doesn't actually have MS. Yeah, that would have been hilarious. But like, Twitter, he's making what do they call it? He's bringing the work home, bro. Like he's living that work, dude. Like he's living his character. I don't fucking know.
It kind of reminds me of like Roddy Piper staying in character even outside of the ring. Bless his soul and whatnot. But Roddy Piper he was always in character even off camera. From what I saw,
Ricochet's a fucking menace on Twitter, bro. Like,
he's a menace, and and I understand, go after the fans and all that, but don't wish or say that you're glad that they had MS and all that, because like what if later down the road you get some kind of disease or condition and all that, and what if a fan tells you, oh, I'm glad you had, I don't know, cancer.
Oh, he's 100% getting that. What, like, before, like let's not kid ourselves. Like he's getting that regardless.
Well, like, don't get me wrong, I don't wish that upon anybody and all that, but
I'm talking about like a fan making fun of him for if he ever catches an illness, he's getting that regardless, bro.
Oh yeah, no, of course, most definitely, and then he's gonna feel what that fan felt, So, like, you have to watch what you say. I understand that, you have the freedom to express how you feel about fans and all that, but don't wish ill upon somebody that has been battling through life with certain illnesses and conditions that they can't avoid and whatnot. You have to be a bit more professional and caring towards the fans and all that. At the end of the day, they're still real people, just like you are a real person as well. A lot of fans have are rude and nasty and all that. But you also have to take accountability that the fact that you're a wrestler and people are going to criticize you because of whether you suck in the ring or whether you suck on the microphone or whatever, and maybe you should take that into consideration and maybe taking some promo class or some shit like that. I don't know. That's just my opinion, So But
I got an important question.
yeah,
How is somebody that's bagged Samantha Irvin talking this much shit on the internet? Like, how are you that unhappy with your life?
dude, I'm saying, bro.
Like,
I'm
dude, you got
saying
Samantha Irvin in your bed. Get off the phone.
for real.
Like,
For real, like if I had Samantha Irvin in my bed, bro, I
I
probably
wouldn't
even
have
a second.
time.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
It would be the end of my social media life. Like, are you kidding?
Dude. But do we want to talk about Ronda Rousey as well? We can just skip that.
Dude, there's
We can go ahead and skip.
the only thing that there is to say is that it's fucking funny now because the whole point is gone. Like,
Yeah.
it was supposed to be a fucking thing with Tony. Oh man,
Yep.
just good luck, dude. Good luck.
Anyways, now we're gonna go ahead and hop on the Indieverse. Killer Cross is the ACW heavyweight champion.
Yeah, good job. I watched that. That was awesome.
In her first match back since neck fusion series, Seth Delander won the ACW Women's Championship. Mila Smith beat Mercedes Moné to become the EWA Women's Champion. Oh my God, she's losing all her belts.
Monet's on her losing run. Like,
God.
That's the one thing about a fucking 4-year win streak is now it's the 4-year lose streak.
For real. After her upcoming appearance at Rev Pro, when does the CEO return to AEW? Exodus Pro Wrestling Hold the Line preview. Exodus Midwest title match, Richard Holiday versus Lord Crew. Exodus Tag Team title, TME versus the Holy Grail. Exodus Women's title match, Marty Bell versus Scotty Sosa. West 48th Street Fight, we got Ashton Day versus Christian Napier. Napier or Napier, I don't know what other two. These are some weird names that they come up with nowadays. EC3 and the Kogar brothers versus Carson Drake and the Slime Balls. Oh my God, the Slime Balls, don't get me wrong, they're fucking great. I saw them at the NWA tapings and they're hilarious. I love them. If you haven't seen them, you have to check them out.
I've seen their promos.
They're hilarious. They're hilarious. I love them. Hayden Backlund, is that Bob Backlund's son?
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Let me check.
Yeah, look that up. Hayden Backlund versus Cowpoke Paul versus Anthony Green. I don't know what name this is supposed to be. M. Beal, I guess, versus Shot Through the Heart. Somebody messed this up somehow. Anyways,
distant relative.
Distant relative. Okay, so probably like a long distance nephew or something like that, maybe. Then we also have for ICW 25. ICW Super Indie Championship, Spencer Slade versus Zach Nystrom versus Austin Blaze versus Andrew Palace. For the ICW Heavyweight Championship, we got Jamison versus Duke Davis. For the ICW Tag Team Championship, we got Bubba the Bulldog versus Bubba the Bulldog and Bulk Nasty versus Oliver Gray and Jay Bevington. For the ICW High State Championship, we got Wes Barkley versus Marcus D'Angelo. We also have Bill Collier versus Felix Cos, Mandam Elijah Dean versus the Wiz Kid, Garen Jones versus Johnny Mahalo. That kind of sounds like Johnny Tsunami from the Disney movie.
Yeah. I was about to say.
Also scheduled to appear. Handsome and gorgeous, Poke Wild, Cannon Christopher, Anthony Katina, and many more. For House of Glory big event, Super Clash 2026, the House of Glory Cruiserweight Championship, we have Darren Richardson versus Joey Silver, Deanna Parasso versus Indy Hartwell. Non-title match, Shotzi Blackheart versus Mina Kawa.
That's
Tag
gonna be fucking good.
the main event, Jade Lion and Midas Black versus the Acclaim, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. Wait, I thought they were. Are they not together on TV, but they're together in outside of TV? Is that what it is?
I would assume. I
'Cause
would assume.
I haven't seen anything on AEW TV. I know they'll like try to bring them back together, but I don't know.
I would assume. I think this is just because they're not. Yeah, they're not on an actual major TV.
Yeah. And then for the last match, we have Amazing Red versus Sammy Guevara. I haven't seen Sammy Guevara in AEW, unless he's in Ring of Honor. But I mean, what's the deal with that? In my opinion, because I mean, I personally, Sammy has the talent and all that. But he just doesn't get the opportunity that he's given.
I think it's
No.
one of those other things where they might feel like it's a developmental issue. Probably promoing.
True. That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like guys that have that much talent but are this low in the industry, or it's probably something to do with their developmental, and it's usually like promoing or etiquettes or some shit to that nature. Because you can tell that it's talent. Like talent's fine. Talent, they're very talented wrestlers. So I'm pretty sure it's not their work in the ring. But
Yeah.
maybe it's outer work in the ring. Maybe it's backroom etiquette. There's like 1,000 things that fall on that.
Yeah. And well, that is it for all the Indiverse news that we have, and basically that's actually the end of our podcast as well. So thank you guys for hanging out. It was a great show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Bucky, did you want to plug in anything?
Check us out on UWO. Thanks again to Snake Williams, dude. That was awesome.
Definitely.
I'm glad I could trigger him a little bit so he can defend OVW, because I figured, okay, I know what how to get this guy lit up. He was cool though. That was good. That was it was a really fun interview. I liked him. He was cool.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun for sure. Well, make sure you guys follow us on our social medias. You can go to our website, respectthecombat.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube as well. You catch our recent episodes as well. So, but that's it for us. You have a good night. We'll catch you next week for another episode of Respect the Combat. And have a great week, everybody. Great weekend. Peace out.
Later. Have a good night.